Hello, this is Bridget with Divine Essentials. Alright guys, this is the Spellcaster's Tarot, I believe, and I figured I would do a reading for you. So I have thinking, feeling, wanting, where things are headed, and the ending of your story. Okay? So basically I was like, what could be the thoughts, the feelings, the things that are happening at this time? So this may be your energy or somebody else's energy that you're connected to, or it could even just be how both people are being influenced. Usually I kind of just pick up a little bit of everything. So the first cards out here we have is the Nine of Swords. So whoever you're connected to or yourself could be having anxiety at this time. The Nine of Swords is like sleepless nights, stress, anxiety. Basically, like, I'm stressed out about something, or I can't sleep because I'm thinking about something, or, oh my god, like they don't look like they're too happy. So if you've been stressed out or you've been like unhappy about something, this may be your energy. Or if you've been okay, then this may be somebody else's energy. And the dog or the wolf there, like it's come through strong, because like sometimes I look at cards and I don't see the other things in the card, or I don't notice stuff in the card, but I am noticing the dog's eyes, and I'm noticing, like, you can't see it as well as I can probably, but maybe if I go closer. The eyes are very bright in this card, and it has like that sense of like, I'm here for you, I'm sorry, I know you're sad, and you can see this person's definitely not happy. They may even be doing some sort of ritual or something there. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I got all my swords, boo-hoo. But I feel like there's something to do with the dog there. There's some sort of loyalty. Maybe that's what it is. Like, there's like a loyalty to a fault. Sometimes when we care about somebody or we love somebody, like our heart does stupid shit and we're like, what is wrong with you, heart? Stop caring about that person because they suck. Like your brain may be like on board and knowing things that are true, but your emotions or your feelings may not be on board with the mind, and that can cause anxiety. That can cause people to be like, I don't know what to do, I know that this is not good for me, or this is bad, or this is not gonna work out well, but I can't help how I feel. So that could be you or them. And again, I feel like it has something to do with loyalty. I'm also picking up for some of you that you may actually have like a pet that is like going to help you through something, or you might want to think of the pet, okay? Like, think of the dog. It's like unconditional love. That is the type of love that you deserve. I know like most humans are not really capable of that like level of love. I think some of us are, but not everybody. Some people may have turned it off, or some people may have been, like just able to, like, I don't know, ice out their heart or something. But I feel like you deserve the type of love that's like undying. It's very loyal, it's very warm, it's very comforting. It's not gonna go away just because of this or that or the other thing. It's like, like if you were to have vows with somebody of like, through all of those bad times and all of those good times, and the poor and the wealth and the shit show and the good show, somebody would be there for you through all of those things. Like, you want somebody that actually means it when they say it and is going to deliver that to you. Especially if you're the type that has that type of love to give, you deserve to receive it back. So maybe that's something that some people need to tap into and realize. It's like, that's what you deserve, and if you're not getting that, then holding on to anxiety about somebody that's not giving that to you really isn't a good thing. It's like, and I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but maybe there's just something about the perspective that needs to shift, or like a realization of like, hey, you know what, like, I do deserve that. I do deserve to have somebody that's like loyal to me to a fault, and I'll be loyal to them to that fault. And then we have the Seven of Wands. So Seven of Wands is like somebody that's working hard. Usually like they're doing something, like he doesn't look like he's getting too much done here, but he might be planning. And I'm picking that up, that energy of like,
there may be anxiety, there may be sleepless nights, there may be some difficulties, and there may be some hard work that needs to be done so that people can overcome something that's been like plaguing them or causing heartache or causing pain or just, there's been a disconnect or something. Like maybe there is a person that has this love for you and they care about you in that way, but there may be a lot of work that needs to be done before they can give it to you. Or you might need to do a lot of work before they can give it to you, because you want to be in a good place when you show up to a relationship. You don't want to show up to a relationship all messed up. You don't want to come in there like a hot mess, because then you're going to cause some problems and they're going to cause some problems if it's on their side. So there just may be work that needs to be done for both the people involved in this situation, or on one side, and you may be like really stressed out about that, or overwhelmed at the idea of like, oh my god, I can't believe all the shit I gotta do. Like maybe I gotta go through a divorce, maybe I gotta tell my kids that I'm leaving their father, maybe I've gotta do some shit that's not easy to do. Whatever it is, I feel like there's work that needs to be done. And there's also fear. Okay, so now we've got the Eight of Swords, and it's weird because sometimes I feel like these two cards, the eight and the nine, are like the shitty, like, oh my god, these are the bad cards. Like to me as a reader, I feel like they're the bad ones, but they come out together a lot, and it's always like in the mind. It's like it's always up in that head. And so I feel like a lot of times it's like it's not maybe necessarily a reflection of reality. It may be a reflection of our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, our illusion that we're looking at, rather than like what's actually going on around us. We have a tendency to wear that blindfold or like not see shit the way that we should be seeing it. And I am noticing the big bull back there, and this is an air energy card, so this is usually connected to the mental energy, the mind energy, and like the air signs. But I'm seeing that big ass bull, and so that's like Taurus energy. That's like stubborn. So somebody may be stubborn, or somebody may be like unbending, unmoving, just like I'm not gonna like allow myself to see what I need to see, or I'm just gonna keep looking over here into the distance, or look at none of these people are, like, she's got her eyes closed, his eyes were like very very clear to me, like something about them were like, whoa, this gotta pay attention to that. And then this dude's like looking off into the distance. He should be working hard, but he ain't. He's just got a pile of shit underneath him. He could be in planning mode, but this one's definitely not seeing shit. And look, his hands are crossed, right? He looks like most of the people get bound in these things. He does have he's bound above, but he's not. His hands are not bound together, but he's holding them together as if they are, and he's got targets on his hands. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like this, and they always say like, look at like the surrounding, right? Like there's a lot of fire. There's some freaking swords right there. Like if you were seriously in danger somewhere and somebody left you standing there like that, and you knew that there was some fucking swords right beside you with your little rope things on, wouldn't you be like and get out of the ropes, or would you back up over to the fire a little bit and be like, okay, can we burn through these ropes? Like you would get out of there, or you would freaking ride the bull out of there, do something, or you could let your fear keep you a target and keep you stuck and keep you from doing anything. So I really feel like some of this is people may just not be seeing things clearly, or people may be in, like their own fire, their own freaking demise, their own stuff inside of themselves. Like, oh yeah, this is the situation, even though it's not the situation. They may just want to be a victim, or they may be used to being a victim. So sometimes when we're used to being a victim, or we've been through something difficult, or we've gone through anything in our lives, we have a tendency to get a little unmoving, unbending, and our way is the only way. Even if we get sometimes we get shit that comes to us and proves to us otherwise of our ideas or our beliefs or whatever it is that we're doing or trying to get other people to do or believe or whatever. And even though we know oh shit, I might be wrong, a lot of times we still don't fucking change. We still are like, I'm gonna stand here and be stupid anyways. I may stop, pushing other people to join me over here, but I'm gonna stand over here because I already fought for this space, and now I feel stupid. So I'm not gonna admit that I was wrong. I'm just gonna, stand here and be stupid. So that could be something there too. I feel like people may be, all right, so for an example, say you were like, this is my twin flame, and I love my twin flame, and all these things, and, fought with your family, and fought with this person, fought with that person, and all these people, and then you may have realized, after you did a little bit of work, or maybe you realized like, oh shit, like this is going to take a lot of work, or maybe I don't really want to look at the truth of the matter of this fact that maybe they aren't, or maybe they are, but maybe, you know, whatever like dynamics are there, maybe like maybe they are your person, but like you may have had them on a pedestal, you may have like thought all these wonderful things about them, but then in realization later on, you could have been like, oh shit, like there's a lot of freaking work here to do. Like they've got this issue, they've got that issue, they got this thing going on, they got that thing going on. And I don't know, like I don't even want to maybe admit to that. Maybe other people have told me like, hey, that person is like a non-committal, they're a player, they're this, they're a liar, they're a cheater, they're like whatever it is, you know, and you may have been like blind to that because of the undying love, and then after doing a little bit of work or a little bit of reflection, you could have been like, oh shit, people are right. And that's going to take a lot of work to handle, or that's, you know, going to take a lot of work for me to get out of that undying love and face the fear of leaving that situation and go see from a new perspective. Because then we have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is about, you know, it can be seen as like somebody waiting for their ships to come in. It's a matter of perspective too with this card. Like sometimes people look at it and they see it as like somebody's on that thing waiting for the ships to come on in. And other people look at it and they see it as like the ships are coming in. The ships are here. The ships are right there. Like, because you can see them in a lot of the cards that are, you know, painted or drawn or whatever. You can see the ships in a lot of them. So it's like, it's a matter of like, are they going out right now and you're going to have to wait for them to go do their whole journey and then come back? Or are those the ships that are coming back from somewhere and you can see them in the shore? So you know, like they're basically home. You know what I mean? So it's basically up to you people to decide with that. But this card here doesn't have any ships. It has the bird. And because of the Monet Key, we connect with the eagle condor for our heart space, and it's all about seeing from a new perspective and rising above the storms of life. And you know, most birds and animals and stuff, like when a storm comes and the rain clouds come, they all like take, you know, shelter and they hide and they're scared and we better hide. But not the eagle condor energy that goes up above the clouds. They go above the storm. They don't let that shit get to them. They're like, yeah, whatever. Also, they see from the biggest perspective of like, they can see that little mouse in the field that they're going to eat, but they can see the entire field as well. So they see a lot more. It's about seeing things from a bigger perspective, realizing and recognizing things on a grander scale. Because a lot of times we don't see things in that way, especially when our hearts are involved or our ego is involved, or just how society has like conditioned us to be. You know, a lot of times people don't pay attention to shit. And they like, I know for firsthand, because I see a lot of times that I'm like, oh my god, they didn't read this or they didn't read that or they didn't see, like there's, you know, like there's the answers right here, but nobody ever sees the things because we're like in a society now where everybody wants like a quick fix, everybody wants instant gratification, everybody wants their microwave to beep in 3 seconds and give them whatever the hell it is that they want, and that's caused some issues and disconnect and some stuff that's just not the greatest stuff. So I feel like with this energy here, you may be waiting for something to happen in a situation, or whoever you're connected to could be waiting for something to happen, waiting for the ships to come in, and maybe the ships are starting to show up, but there could be fear about that because now there's a lot of work to do because they're there. You know, if you're waiting for somebody to like come back into your life, and then all of a sudden they come back into your life, you may be like, oh, like you might have got used to them not being there. Also, with the energy of the eagle condor, there's a few of them there. So I feel like there may be a couple of different perspectives to look at, just even in regards to this reading. It could be like some of you are the ones that are having like that issue or that disconnect where you need to take your blindfold off, you need to face your fear, you need to look at your insecure stuff that you got going on, and like own up to your truth, own up to who you are, own up to the fact that you got work to do. If you're human, you got work to do. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. We all got stuff, you know, no matter what you've been through, even if your mom and dad were perfect and everything was great as a child, if you're here on a twin flame thing, or you're here because you've resonated with anything I've offered, there's likely something that you've had to go through at some point somewhere that's left a scar. So you might need to see from a different perspective in regards to those things, or there may be something that you're sabotaging yourself within, and it's like maybe you want your ships to come in, maybe you're sick of being, on that energy that you're in, but you're not seeing something clearly. Definitely something to do with that message there. So when it comes to the mind, I feel like people's minds are influencing them negatively. It's keeping them in a place of fear and doubt. um, and also there's still a lot of work to do, and there's a whole like slew of other ways of looking at things. No matter what you've got going on, there's always two sides to a story. Like there's your story and their story, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth, and then there's the perspective of the people outside of you on your side and on their side, and then there's like, public opinion perspective and like what the collective might think, and then there's just like basic human decency perspective, and then there's people who don't have human decency perspective, you know what I mean? So there's tons and tons of layers. I feel like you might want to look at things from different layers, different levels, and also look at it like from those perspectives of other people rather than like coming at it from your own thing. And that was something that I did with the Muniki a lot too. It was like once I went through that, I was no longer able to just see, like when my friend would come to me and be like, I hate my boyfriend because blah, 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 blah. I would see what the boyfriend was seeing, or I would like be like, well, I understand why you're upset, but did you ever think that maybe possibly blah blah blah? And they'd be like, oh my god, because it's like you can see from two people's perspectives now. Like before, it would have always immediately you just jump to your friend's defense and like, oh yeah, what a dick, blah, blah, blah. But that went away for me. I don't have that ability anymore. I can literally like look through other people's eyes and be like, oh, I think they're upset because of this or that, So that's something that you might want to try to tap into a little bit, is seeing from the eyes of your heart and soul rather than seeing from the eyes of your ego, because the ego is going to separate, the ego is going to divide, the ego is going to make you think that you're right no matter what. But usually if somebody does something or they say something or whatever has been done that has caused any pain or suffering or disconnect or frustration or anger, there's usually a reason. And if you look at their side of it through their eyes, you usually will be able to be like, oh my god, like, and it takes away the anger, and it takes away the frustration, it takes away the sadness sometimes, because you start to understand from their shoes why they did what they did or why they might do what they do. And it's not necessarily an excuse for them, because some people do things just because they're bad people, but there are a lot of things that get done or said or miscommunicated based off of the fact that like they're living from their level of consciousness and you're living from your level of consciousness. So trying to see from other people's levels helps a lot. And then looking at it from an outside perspective also helps, because like think about, what would you tell your best friend if your best friend was in your situation, or what would you tell your sibling, or what would you tell your mom, or what would your mom say to you? Like maybe your mom's gone like mine. Like, what would your mom say about the situation? What would she tell you? Would she tell you being stupid, or would she tell you like, oh yeah, that's a great idea? So sometimes those things can help us, and journaling can help us too, because then we can like see from a perspective outside of ourselves. Like we can write to ourselves like a little letter, like write to your inner child, write to yourself as you are in this moment, write to yourself as if you're writing to yourself from the person that you might be having a difficulty with, or write to the person you're having difficulty with. You don't have to give it to them. I used to do that a lot. I used to write letters to like everybody, or if I was in a relationship with somebody, I would write them a letter, and then I would just like throw it out or never give it to them, because it was like it gave me an opportunity to like work through what I was feeling, and it would give me an opportunity to like verbalize all the things that I might wanted to say but I couldn't say, or if I had sat down in front of them and tried to verbalize those things, it would have ended up in a fight, or it wouldn't have been like understood by their side. So it was like at least I got it out, and at least I was able to like process stuff. I'm not great at communicating with people one-on-one. Like if I'm upset or something, like I just shut down. But I can write. So like I will go write a letter and let you know, like blah blah blah, I'm sorry. I will never tell you I'm sorry, but I will write it. See, that might be something that will help some of you guys, especially if you have this tendency to be like the bull. I'm Taurus, so you might be. I know a lot of my people are earth signs, because I'm a triple earth, and I know a lot of you guys have that earth energy about you, or you might be dealing with somebody that is in the earth energy. And that's sometimes difficult to deal with because they're very stubborn and they think that they know what's best. And even if they know that they messed up, they're going to be too stubborn to admit it. So, maybe ask them to write you a letter. With the feelings, we have Fool here. So with the Fool is the one that takes a leap of faith and jumps right in, okay? So these are our feelings energy. I feel like in the feelings, people don't want to wait, and again, I'm getting that sense of like there's this like undying love, or there's like this deep emotional connection to somebody or something, and it's causing maybe you to feel a certain way, but to think otherwise. So maybe you feel like, I really just want to jump into this. I love this person. I care about this person. I miss this person. Or I know this person's the one for me. Or I know XYZ. And I'm noticing that the sun is up in the sky, but down here in the reflection in the water is like a moon. So I feel like there's like two sides to this energy again. It's like we get like the two sides of the story. We have like the feminine and masculine energies coming through here, and I feel like intuitively you might want to start like balancing those things out, or trying to navigate through them, and like, how can I see things clearly? How can I tap into my emotions? How can I utilize what I have available to me to help me to get clarity about certain circumstances or situations that I'm dealing with? How can I navigate this a little bit more balanced, or where do I need to find more balance? Because maybe you are showing up in a certain way that's not very becoming, and that could be causing a disconnect just based out of fears and doubts and insecurities. Because when you are fearful and anxious, usually you're not in a great vibe. Like, you're not confident, right? So like, if you're not confident, that can make people be like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you acting so weird? Why are you so weird right now? Like, just stop being weird. And it may not be that you're trying to be, or you may not even realize that that's what's happening as a result of it. But if you're very anxious and very fearful and very doubtful, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and you're like stressed out about what needs to be done, and you feel like, I don't want to wait anymore, I just want to jump in, and I feel all these feelings, and I'm up at night, and I'm not getting any rest. Like, if you're not sleeping, because this is that card that like indicates that, you might be a hot mess, and so you might need to balance things out. You might want to do some shadow work, or try to look at things like from black and white type of energy, or try to be like tapped into your masculine vibration that brings clarity, brings confidence, brings the vibration of the sun. So it's like it illuminates everything, and it helps you to see like what's what. It's the daytime. It's the like the sun's beaming down. We can see everything clearly. There's no shadows. There's no stuff hidden, and that's like the thing with men, So if you're dealing with a dude, men are pretty much, for the most part, not all of them. There are men out there that are narcissistic or assholes or lie or keep themselves in shadows, but a lot of men literally will tell you straight up like what they want, what they think, what they feel, but you've got to ask, like you've got to say it. They may not know how to verbalize their emotions the best way. A lot of times they get activated by a feminine who will verbalize their emotions or what they feel. Like, they need to feel through the feminine. You know what I mean? Like, the feminine is the soft place. The feminine is the shadow. The feminine is the moon. She's like the darkness, the nighttime. She's the, cool breeze after the hot summer day. She's like the yin to the yang, right? So basically, I feel like there may be something that like they have maybe told you, or they're trying to communicate to you, or they would communicate to you, but you may not be allowing yourself to see it because your own shadow energy, or your own inability to be very clear and forth and straightforward and coming like, blah, 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 this is what I mean. Because a lot of women don't do that. They say one thing, but they don't mean it. They might say like, oh yeah, that's fine, no big deal. But under the surface, under the shadow, under that like dark, blah, 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 they're like, oh my God. They go run to their best friend and like, oh my God, what did he do? Because they don't come out clear in the sun, in the clarity, in the illumination. They shroud everything. They keep it hidden. And a lot of that is, society and beliefs and ancestors that pass that type of thing down to you. Like, maybe your mother was a people pleaser, so you became a people pleaser. And in a form of people pleasing or codependency is like, hey, you know what? Like, this makes me feel like shit, but I know you like it, so I'm going to keep doing it even though it makes me feel like shit. Or I'm exhausted and I don't want to do this right now, but instead of telling you that, I'm going to do it and then I'm going to be resentful about it. And that's, obviously not healthy and not good, but that's what like can happen when we don't have that very clear, masculine energy strong within us. Because no matter who you are, masculine or feminine, you need to have a balance of those energies. If your shadow is overrunning shit, and it's like, oh, that's fine, and that's fine, and that's fine, and I'm not going to like admit that that hurt my feelings, or I'm not going to admit that I don't want to do this, or I'm not going to admit any of this stuff, you're not going to get very far ahead, like things are going to just suck for you. There's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be, a difficult path ahead. There's going to be a lot of confusion. And it's just a reflection of what you're rippling out. Because if you're not being clear and straightforward with people, have no opportunity to be that way with you. Because they don't even know what you want. You've not even verbalized it. They may have an inkling. They may even ask you. They may be like, are you sure? You seem a little tired. Are you sure you're okay to go for this 10-mile hike? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, well, let's go. It's like that happens. But with the masculine vibration, the masculines usually are very clear, about stuff. Like if you meet a dude and they don't want to date, they'll tell you, like, I don't want to date. And a lot of times women, because they don't have that thing, or they have a tendency to shroud stuff, they're like, they don't mean that. Or even if they think that they might mean it, they're like, I can change that, and then they set off on a path. It's very difficult for them because they're not going to be able to change what the truth is for somebody else. That other person will have to change that truth on their own. And they can decide to do that at some point, but they need to come to that conclusion on their own. Manipulation, or like coercion, and trying to get somebody to do something or influence them in some way, usually doesn't work out in your favor. If you care about somebody, you care about somebody. You can love somebody and have this type of true love for them. But if that was the truth and that was like really what it was, none of those manipulative things would come about. This anxiety and stuff like that might exist, but usually for different reasons. It wouldn't be because I want to be with them and they won't be with me. It would be, maybe like the person that I care about is doing things that's like detrimental to their health. So it's causing me stress and anxiety. But if the person I love unconditionally wants to be free, wants to be flying around and doing their own thing, and maybe eventually down the road someday they might not want to be doing that anymore, and there might be a shot for us down the road, that's fine and dandy. But I want what's best for them. I want them to be happy. So if I truly love them the way that this dog loves me, or loves this woman, and is there to support and be there no matter what, like that would be the case. None of that shadow shit would exist. None of those like false illusions would be there. None of that coercion, or let me just try to change their mind, or let me manipulate, or let me coerce them into doing something they don't want to do, because you would care too much about them to do those things. So that may be a perspective shift for some people to make too, is like, do I really love this person, or is it self-serving in some way? Do I just want them to want me back? And once they want me back, I might not even want them anymore. Because that happens too with people. I've seen a lot of people do that, where they finally get somebody to like give them the time of day, and they're like, I don't want you anymore. So take what resonates. I know that this is kind of like I said, I feel like there's a lot of layers here. I feel like there's a lot of things coming through, like different people that might be picking up into this energy. But I definitely feel like whatever's going on mentally is not aligned within the emotions. It's like I'm thinking all this stuff that's really not true, or I'm dealing with somebody that's thinking all these things that's not true, and because of their fears and because of their doubts, their insecurities, or their inability to like face the fact that they've got some work to do on themselves, or the inability to like be like acknowledge that, hey, you know what, there's some work to do. Like if you want to make things right, say that like somebody is connected to you and they feel emotionally like, I want to jump in and I want to take action towards them, but they hurt you, or they caused you anxiety, or they caused you a lot of pain, they caused a lot of disconnect or whatever. They may want to, take this leap of faith towards you, but they may be like, missing the fact that like, hey, it's going to take some work to fix things. You got to say sorry. You can't just come back and like, everything's hunky-dory because now you want that to be the case. When that was, offered to you before, you might have done something that, caused pain or disconnect, or lied and manipulated, or led people to believe things that weren't true, or whatever. So I feel like this can cross back and forth, this energy, but there's definitely a sense of like whatever's going on, people are like trying to like avoid the hard work. They might be a little bit stubborn in that as well, of like, I don't really have anything to do, like I didn't do anything wrong, or I just did what I was supposed to do, or I told you, but it's not my fault that you didn't pay attention, or it's not my fault XYZ, because people like to do that too. So yeah, I definitely feel like there's something going on that's a little weird in the mind. But emotionally, it's like it's not the same. Emotionally, there's like, I want to jump into this. Emotionally, we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. These are all new beginning cards. The aces are new beginnings, a fresh start. Like, here we go, start over. The wands are our passion, our desire, our drive, our ambition, our energy, right? The pentacles is our value and our worth and our money and our, stability. It's the earth energy. It's like that, like where we're like maybe a little stubborn or something. But it's usually like, I have value on myself. I know that I deserve good and I know what I want. And so because of that, like, I don't settle for shit and I don't let people, rock my world, and I don't, waste my time on things that are not serving me. I don't waste my efforts and my energy and my attention on stuff that's not giving back to me. I'm going to be very grounded and very stable, very loyal, very committed, but I'm not going to be stupid, basically. It's like usually the value and the worth that we have in ourselves comes because we have value, worth from other people. Like we don't, it depends. Like some people get weird, like they get codependent or they get a little like messed up, and they find that they can only feel valuable or worthy if people use them in some way or like need them in some way. Like you could become a martyr where it's like, oh, I did this and I did that and I did the other thing, but you offered to do all those things, and obviously there were probably things somebody would want you to do, but if you do things and then you're like hold it against those people, it's kind of martyr. And then if you are doing things basically just to give yourself a boost of confidence or to feel worthy, like I've had an issue with that in the past because I have people-pleasing things and I have like codependency things in my past and like narcissistic parents and alcoholic parents and all the fucking bullshit that goes along with it. So basically, like I would have a tendency to like offer my services or my time or my energy, or I would go do something that I really don't want to do because somebody else needed it or wanted it or, asked for it. And a lot of times they don't even have to ask me. It's like if they just mention the fact that it's a thing in my like general area, I'm like, I can fix that, even though I don't want to, So that happens too. And the reason we would do that, even though we don't want to do it, is by doing that and those people being like, oh yeah, please do that. Thank you. This is great. It makes us feel valuable. It makes us feel worthy of something. It's like, oh, I did something good, even though it sucked and I'm fucking pissed off and I'm resentful now and all of that. Yay, I have value and worth. So we want to make sure that our value and worth is coming from a good place, but I do feel like this is the type of thing that could be getting misconstrued within stuff, or not like necessarily being panned out equally within the connection that you are, connected to or whatever. Or maybe that's the thing that's been needing to be worked on, but people don't want to maybe necessarily acknowledge that about themselves, because it's hard to acknowledge that we have issues. It's hard to acknowledge that, like, yeah, I've been, a little stupid or a little codependent, or maybe I've been loving with conditions. Like, a lot of people love with conditions. Like, I love my twin flame. I want to jump into a connection with them. I want this emotional start with them. I want to have passion and desire and drive and all these things, but I don't want to fucking wait for them. I want them right now. Or I don't want to deal with their fears of commitment, or I don't want to deal with their fears of intimacy, or I don't want to deal with having to do the work that's required to get there. I just want it to come and be there and easy. And that's why people end up in toxic relationships or karmic relationships that aren't twin flames, that aren't good for them, that aren't going to make them better people, that are going to take away from them or keep them stuck or make them suffer, struggle, feel shitty about themselves, lose the value and worth on themselves, lose their confidence, get into that shadow, have to manipulate, lie, and put up a veil over what I truly feel, and put up a veil over what I want, and pretend everything's fine and dandy. All the while, if we just did the work and took the blindfold off and allowed ourselves to see from different perspectives and recognize when we are the one that needs to look in the mirror and say like, hey, this is my fault, or I need to stop engaging with these things or these ideas or these feelings, or this maybe comes from my childhood or whatever, and then do the work that's required to heal those things, then we stop, those cycles. We stop getting stuck in these relationships that are no good for us, or even pursuing relationships that are no good for us, because that's self-sabotage. If you have a person that comes out the gate and tells you that they don't want to be there, or they're not ready to be there, or they're in another relationship, like, actions speak louder than words a lot of times. So if you're dealing with somebody, and I know this isn't going to be favorable and people aren't going to want to hear it, but if you're dealing with somebody that, you've offered yourself to them, or there's been a connection between the two of you, but they continuously choose to go to be with somebody else, or they go home to somebody every day of the week, that's not great. Like, that action speaks loudly. They may not have said to you like, I don't want you, but their behavior is showing that they don't value you enough to give to you what you deserve. They're not loving you the way that you deserve to be loved. And if you feel that you love them that way, that I love them to my own demise, and they're wanting to be with somebody else, and by them going to be home with that other person, doesn't maybe necessarily mean like they could be doing this other shit where it's like, oh, I don't really want to be with this person, but I'm in my shadowy, weird, fucking manipulative, sneaky haha energy that can't be truthful. So I'm going to go home to this person because I have kids with this person, or because we have money involved with each other, or just because I'm afraid, or because I don't know what it's going to be like with you, or because of this or that or the other thing, or because of my parents, or, society, whatever the hell the reason is. It doesn't matter what their reasoning is. It may not be that it's like flat, dry, like, I don't want to be with you, but it's bigger than the desire to be with you. Is that thing that's causing them to do what they're doing. So if they're doing what they're doing, whatever it is, we need to be like, oh, you know what, they're doing that thing, so that shows me very clearly that they don't, want this right now, or they're not going to give to me a valuable thing that deserves my time, energy, and attention. I don't want to be in this sleepless night every night, having this fear and being stuck somewhere that I'm not really stuck. I don't have to be here. I don't have to wait for this person. I don't have to wait for ships to come in. I can go get in a ship and take off. And usually when you do something like that, when you recognize your value and you realize that, like, loving yourself is the best thing to do here, you can love somebody unconditionally, and by truly loving them unconditionally realize, like, if they don't have the strength or whatever, they want to stay where they are, okay, I love them enough, I'm gonna go do my own thing, they go do their own thing, maybe we'll cross paths again down in another road or whatever, but I'm not gonna, like, not love myself and sit here miserably while they do what they're doing. I'm going to go focus on me. I'm going to go do the work I need to do on myself, because that's a clear indication too that if the person that you're madly in love with and you think is supposed to be with you is not with you for some XYZ reason, that's a clear indication that there is work to be done. So go set sail in your own life without needing to know what they're doing every minute of the day, or what's going on in their world, and just focus on becoming the best version of yourself, starting over emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, finding the value and the worth so that you can heal, grow, and ascend. And if that person's truly your mirror, or that person's truly meant to come be with you at some point, they will. They'll figure it out. You will figure it out. You'll cross paths again. You got to trust and have, faith at some point. But you don't want to just, like, sit around like this and then, like, what are you, waiting for them to come show up so then you can do the work together? No, go do the work now. Don't even think about them. Don't worry about them. I know it's easier said than done, but when you really start to focus on you, and you focus on your healing, your growth, and you jump and dive in for that, and you see from those new perspectives, it'll get easier every day. And you might even find over time, like, what the hell was I doing? Or you might realize, like, I was self-sabotaging, or I was, pursuing something in the wrong place. Because then you might meet somebody even better when you're in a healthier vibration and frequency. You might have the clarity to see somebody else that, like, sparks your light and sparks you up and is going to love you in the way you deserve to be loved. It doesn't have to be the case. It could be the case that once you really love yourself truly enough, and you show that other person that you do value yourself, and your energy shifts and your emotions shift, and you're no longer hidden in the shrouded darkness of, oh, it's okay that you go home to that person, or it's okay that you're still married, or it's okay that we sleep together once in a while, or it's okay, whatever you're letting them be okay with. when you stop doing that and you're very clear within the, like, that's not okay for me, that doesn't work for me, I have too much value in myself, I respect myself, I have, my emotions balanced, I'm not going to freak out and cry about it, and I'm not going to like tell you I hate you about it, but I'm going to be an adult and let you know that it doesn't make me feel good, and I don't do things that don't make me feel good because that's silly, so why would I do it? That may shift how they perceive you, and that may make the weight kind of go away, because they may realize, like, I can't wait anymore, because this person, I'm going to lose this person forever, because now they see their own value and worth. Like, maybe they know your value, and maybe they know that you're worthy and that they love you and all of those things, but if you don't recognize those things, you're going to allow them to treat you a way that lets them bide their time, that lets them kind of sit around and be lazy, and lets them do things that's not good. So if you want this person to step up to the plate as an emperor, and to get rid of the behaviors that are sneaky and manipulative and don't show the light, that don't show true divine masculine energy, or even maybe sometimes controlling, like, I want you to be single and I want you to be waiting for me. I don't want you dating other people. I don't want you doing this thing or that thing and the other thing, but I'm going to go home to my wife and do my own thing. Like, no, that's not okay. So sometimes that could be the case too, as people deal with somebody that's very controlling, or manipulative or narcissistic. But again, the answer would be do the work on yourself, heal yourself, know your value and worth first and foremost, and come into your own clarity, your own light, balanced with your intuition, balanced, because you don't want to like get rid of the shadow altogether. You need the shadow to be able to recognize it in other people, and you need to be able to like use your intuition to guide you, trust your gut and follow it, and balance those two energies out. But so many people are just in the darkness, they're in the shadow energy, they're lying to themselves, they're lying to each other, they're not seeing the truth of things, they don't want to see the truth of things, because if they did, it would hurt, and that sucks. But once we face it, and once we heal it, and once we grow, we can shift it, and then we can get valuable offers from people in our lives, because you're going to attract someone to you that's going to value you when you value you. Right now, you might attract someone to you that doesn't really value you as much as they should, or they don't do what they should because you don't call for it. You don't honor yourself. You don't speak your truth. You don't do the things that would align with somebody that does. So what you attract is somebody that maybe likes you, maybe cares about you, but isn't in a big rush to prove it to you, and isn't in a big rush to make any major changes because you aren't. So you need to make sure that that's not what's happening around you, and keep doing the work that's required to get those steps moving, so that somebody can come in. And look at that, there's another doggy. Yeah, it's a doggy. I'm like, what is that? I don't know what he's doing. Oh, it's a bone. All right, he's digging up a bone. So it's like, I feel like, because like the Page of Pentacles is somebody that's very vulnerable, very authentic, very much like in their truth, okay? So they're not going to come with an offer that's shitty. They may be like a little younger, like there's like an immature energy with the pages specifically, but this page for me as a reader, the Page of Pentacles, he's the one that brings the final pentacle to like the people who are in the 9. When you are truly single, sexy, confident, independent, pre-Empress energy, that's when you attract someone in with the valuable, vulnerable, authentic offer that's worthy of your time and energy. And it's going to come from a dude, that's good, got their shit together, that knows their self, that knows what they want, that isn't like uncertain, or isn't with someone else, or isn't, only there occasionally, isn't like a freaking flip-flopper back and forth, isn't going to leave you up at night wondering what you did or didn't do, or how you should talk, or how you shouldn't be, because that's not how it should be. How it should be is you should be who you are 100% at your core, happy, confident, beautiful, doing all the things that you love to do, no matter what it is and how you are. And, even if you have things that are wrong, or like difficulties, or maybe you struggled with a financial thing, or you struggle with a health thing, or you struggle with a mental thing, or you struggle with a family thing, or you struggle with, exes, or you struggle with your job, or whatever it is, those are okay to have those things, those struggles. And the main thing is that you're still true to who you are. And the person that will come and like give you vulnerable, authentic, and worthy of your energy type of commitments and connections is going to honor you regardless of all that other stuff,
But usually when you're good within yourself and you do the work and clear all this other stuff up, a lot of other problems clear themselves away, or the bumps that we go through aren't so big. They may suck. They may have like a little bit of a like, oh, what the hell? I don't want to do this. I wish that this wasn't the case. But it's not so detrimental, or it's not so hard, because we're good with who we are. We trust in the universe. We trust in ourselves to be able to get through it. And by being in that vibration, you'll attract somebody that's the same way, and somebody that you can add to your team to help you to navigate through those things, rather than to cause more chaos or cause more anxiety or cause more sleepless nights or cause more pain or suffering or disconnect because they can't decide who they want to be with, or they can't decide that they don't want to be like, playing the game and sleeping with everybody. Like if you got somebody that like is in a marriage or a commitment, or you got somebody that just likes to play around and like keep their options open because maybe they like you right now, but like maybe somebody better is going to come along, because that's all that is. If somebody is literally just like stringing you along because like they don't want to be alone on Saturday night and other people may be busy that night, like that's not cool. You don't want that. You want somebody that's going to be like, hey, you know what, like I don't care what other people are doing that night. I want you that night and every night after that night, because that's probably how you feel for them. But if you're not getting that reciprocal energy back, you've got to sometimes go through that difficulty of like, okay, I got to own the clarity here and recognize like they're not giving me what I deserve, so I need to heal that pain and get rid of that sneaky manipulative type of behavior that they have, because they might pretend, oh, I'm just busy, or oh, like I had to go home because of this, or I don't sleep with my wife, we just live together. Like whatever they're saying is usually not 100% true, because there's this air around it. Like if that was the truth, they just live together, they don't sleep together, they're not even together anymore, then you wouldn't need to be hidden, you wouldn't need to be a secret, they would just be living together. And like you could meet that person and that person would probably be cool with it and be okay with it, because they're not like that, right? But if that's not what's happening, then that's probably a clear indication that they may not be telling the whole truth. And what they're doing to you is the same thing they're doing to that person. So they're going to leave a wake of misery behind them, that like whoever's married to them, or whoever's, whoever else is connecting to them romantically, because maybe this is something that they do with multiple people. Those people are going to get hurt too, if those people care about them. Maybe they're dealing with people that don't care about them and just want to have a good time or whatever. But whatever the case is, no matter what's going on, you want this, okay? With no more third party stuff. You don't want to have a party going on. You want to have like an individual, hey, I know what I see in you and you see in me, and we have true love, and it's illuminating and it's clarity, and you're choosing me and I'm choosing you. So this is the lovers, okay? The lovers is the person that makes the choice in love, like which one they want to be with. So if your person's not making that choice, make it for them, because that is the choice. If they can't choose you, or they want to keep everything going with everybody, then like make that option easy for them and eliminate yourself from the roster and move yourself ahead. So I asked what's going to be going on, or where like things are headed. And we did have the Four of Cups, okay? So the Four of Cups is a card of rejection, or it's a card of like missing something, again, like not seeing something clearly. I don't see something, or I'm not recognizing something. But I do feel like this may be in regards to whoever you're dealing with, okay? So your person may not be realizing something about you, or they may not be realizing something about the situation that they have, created here with you. They may not even realize that they're hurting you. Maybe they don't know, because maybe you are a people pleaser, or you may be codependent, or like the martyr energy, where it's like you feel this way and you're all stressed out and you're all upset and you're waiting for some big magical thing to happen with them, but you may not have told them any of that. You may pretend that you're okay with being that third party, or you may, come off to them as like a booty call, and like they may think that that's all that you want, or that that's all you feel. Or maybe you've never even told them how you feel at all. So they could be living their life day to day, in and out, not even knowing what you want, not even knowing that that's an option for them, because you might have not have said something. So if you've never said anything to the person, that's a big, maybe, hey, gotta see this. What the hell are you afraid of? Like, why are you all upset? And like, all these things. You haven't done any work. You haven't even told the person what you want. You haven't even told them that you like them. You haven't even said, hey, what, like, blah, blah, blah. I like you. Because if you did, for some of you, they may decide, oh, you know what, like, I like you too. But if you're too afraid and too in your anxiety, too in your fear, too in your doubts, you might not say anything. You might feel all this way. You might want that stuff. You might even look at them and think of them and doing bad things, but they're not doing anything bad if they don't know, because they don't know. So don't project that onto them either, of like, oh, they're a horrible person because they're doing this and dating other people and blah 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 blah. But I've never told them that I like them, because they probably don't know. Okay, so that's for somebody or some of you, but definitely this person's not seeing something. Okay, so it could be like something big like that, like they have no clue that you even like are on the roster of like the options of people that want to be with them. Or it could be that they're not seeing the fact that they're hurting you, or they could not, they could have a disconnect somewhere, not see like that they need to make a decision, that like they're just, what they're doing right now is not going to get anywhere. Like they could be missing, like, hey, there's this big pile of work underneath you to do. You're just as much at fault for the problems that you have within this relationship, but maybe you're not seeing it because ego or distractions, or it's just sometimes easier for us to be that bullheaded person that's like, I have no idea what's wrong with me. So I feel like your person may be having something like that, especially because we had the moon here too. And the moon is, again, what I was talking about with like, it's like whatever's going on in the mind is a true, complete disconnect from what's going on emotionally. So moving forward, I feel like whatever's happening right now is going to continue to happen until somebody speaks up, until somebody says the truth. Okay, so take that as it resonates, because I definitely feel like there's some major disconnect within the truth of the matter of situations that's going on here. And the moon is like, again, the feminine, and it's the darkness, the shadow. It's like the, see him sneaking away in the middle of the night, the Seven of Swords. That's lying, stealing, cheating, manipulating behavior. And they're like looking back at that sword because they dropped it, and like that's evidence that they're leaving behind at the scene. And you might have seen the evidence, you might know what they're doing wrong, or you might know that this is going to keep causing you heartache, or you might know that you truly deserve something like this. But when those offers come your way, you might not even like acknowledge them or look at them, because you're too wrapped up in the dark and in the shadow and the manipulation and the lies. And maybe it's because that's all you've known. Because honestly, for people, we go to what's familiar. We don't go to what's like the best for us a lot of times. We're like, hey, you know what? That's a familiar situation. Somebody that's narcissistic, manipulative, a liar, gonna cheat on me, or they're gonna make me feel like I'm crazy, or they're gonna play head games with me, or they're just like a master manipulator, or they're just, a toxic, no good piece of crap. Like, if that's what you've been through, or you've seen that growing up in your parents, or you have seen that a lot within society, or maybe it's just something you've attracted in recently for some reason. But again, it's usually like we go to familiar things. So it may not be, just because like somebody wants to hurt you or is a bad person. It's like you just seem to, find yourself in those situations because it's the thing that needs to be worked out and healed, so you stop attracting that. And another unfortunate thing with that whole thing is that a lot of times women don't even become attracted to people unless they are bad for them, or that they do have that sense of like, like, oh, they're the bad guy, they're the bad boy. And when you do get genuine offers or romantic people who are not going to hurt you, that are going to choose you 100%, you'd be like looking like her, all bored, all sad, like, they're too nice, And I'm only saying this out of like research and also things that I've experienced, and times that I've felt that way, where it was like somebody wanted to give me their heart and soul and everything like under the sun, and I was like, they're just too nice. So make sure that you're not doing that to yourself, because that's another form of self-sabotage. And we're like, oh, you know what, like this person really wants to tell me the truth and love me unconditionally. Look at, there's that dog, right? Like this one would come and make everything clear and right for her. He would jump all in, have his emotions there, but he's not going to miss, he's mental energy, right? Like the King of Swords, he's very truthful, he's communicative, he's not going to lie to you, he's not going to tell you, what's not true, he's not going to play games with you. He's going to come in with integrity and say what he means and mean what he says and have that love that matches up to that love. And so it can take away that anxiety. It can get rid of all of that darkness. It can get rid of all that shrouded energy that's all miscombobulated over here within the mental mind energy, or the false beliefs that somebody may have acquired over their life, or just like the missing perspective that needs to be seen or whatever. But like if he were to come and speak the truth and say the things, you want that's what you're wanting, you want somebody that brings the clarity and illuminates that darkness. Now with the Two of Wands, I feel like, because again I asked like what's going to happen, I feel like somebody needs to make a choice. This could be you or whoever you're connected to, but there's definitely a choice that needs to be made. This is like, I've got the world in my hands and I've got to decide which way I want to go, and then it usually progresses to the Three of Wands, where it's like we either wait for the ships to come in about the decision that we've made, or we go set sail and get into the ship and go towards what we've decided. But I feel like that's also dependent upon sex too. So like, or it's dependent upon your energy, right? So like in every relationship, there's a person that's, the pursuer, and there's the person that's like the receiver. Like for the predominant energy of like, I'm going to court you, or I'm going to come after you, I'm going to pursue you in love, and one person's going to be receptive and receiving of that. So even in that sense, if there's something disconnected or mixed up within your situation, if your person's the one that's supposed to be pursuing you and you're pursuing them, that can cause some problems. So you might need to make a decision to stop doing that, because that could be causing conflict and chaos and confusion and causing all this anxiety. Like, why don't they like me? It may not be that they don't like you. They may just not like you pursuing them. They might want to pursue you. So that could be something for some people, that decision needs to be made, and that could be the missing thing. Maybe they're not the one missing the big, this is in your face for a reason. It could be you that's having all this stress and stuff and is like just not realizing that, like, hey, if I just stop doing what I'm doing, everything will work the way it's supposed to work. And that just depends on what's gone on around you and what you've done, what you haven't done, and all of that, and how much of this energy is present in your situation, how many third parties are involved, is this something that they consistently do and like go home to other people? Are they constantly like leaving you out in the cold and going off with others? Like at some point you got to look at like, what's the repetition pattern happening? What do they consistently do? Do they show up for a little bit of time and break your heart every time? Because if that's what's happening, we don't want to keep doing that. It's like we got to put a stop to whatever it is that's causing the conflict, the chaos, and this is competition energy again. So I feel like for many of you who are going to be resonating with this reading, it's basically that there's like other people involved in this on some level, or something's involved in this on some level that's a big problem and needs to get X'd out of the situation, and it's a choice that needs to be made. Somebody's not seeing something clearly. Truth needs to be spoken, and I feel like that's on both sides. I feel like you need to speak up what you want and say, like, listen, blah, 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 blah. And this person also may need to tell you the truth of what they want or what they feel, or just tell you the truth of like, yeah, you know what, that's never going to happen with us, instead of this energy of like, well, I like to sleep with you occasionally, so I'm not going to tell you that it's never going to be more, because then I don't get to have what I want. And, some people are selfish like that. So make sure you have healthy boundaries, which I feel like you're going to acquire, because we get the Queen of Swords here, and then we get that Bull again. Very stubborn energy. So I feel like some of you may already be here too, like, and I feel like this could be, because I'm like, what's going to happen? I feel like some of you could already be in this vibration, right? Some of you, could have gone through this up till now, and like now you're here in this, or some of you need to get to this, but basically this is the Queen of Swords. She's very much about her boundaries. Like, she knows what she deserves. She's not going to take bullshit. She's not going to listen to lies. She's not going to let people manipulate her. She's not going to be stupid, basically. She's going to know, like, what I want is what I deserve, and I'm not going to let you come in and go and do all your stupid shit. Like, I know what I want, and I'm going to keep myself protected. I'm going to keep my sword high. If you come at me with this shit, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to hurt you if you hurt me.
is the energy. And also it's the energy of somebody that's already been hurt. So again, I feel like you may have been through a situation that has caused you a lot of, like, you may not even want a particular person anymore, but now you could be blocked off from new love, a new emperor. You could be self-sabotaging, because this is a self-sabotage card as well. There could be somebody out there that wants to be with you, or could have love, but because you've been through like some difficulties with a person that lied to you or didn't tell you the truth, or you invested all of your emotion into, and you may have thought they were the emperor, but they were more so the Seven of Swords. Now you could be self-sabotaging due to the pain and the heartache that you've been through, and the vulnerable offers an authentic love that could give you this new beginning and this thing to jump into and to set sail towards. You may not be choosing it based out of the fact of experiences that you've had with other people. So that could be keeping you in that Queen of Swords energy, blocking yourself from good opportunities and new people and new love because of, just residue of old people. Like, I know I still have stuff to heal just from my last relationship was really toxic and unhealthy. And I sometimes have a tendency to like expect things or think things or worry about stuff that maybe normal people wouldn't ever go to, or people who haven't been through those experiences would never even like think those thoughts or have those fears or have those feelings. But because I was, in that for a long time and dealt with somebody like this for so long and literally was lied to about everything for so many days, like when you go through that level of like somebody that makes you feel like you're crazy, like you know what they did, you see what they did, you have proof of what they did, but they deny it and deny it and deny it and deny it to the point where you're like, oh, maybe they didn't. They literally make you feel crazy. That messes you up, and it makes you a little like, I don't understand, I don't know, so if you've been through that at all with anybody or any narcissistic abuse, understand what I'm saying. Like, that can set you up for a dynamic of attracting more people who are going to maybe be not so good. And it's hard for us to sometimes see clearly or recognize certain things, or even how we're showing up at certain times, just out of our fears and our doubts and our insecurities, coming out of things like that. So keep those things in mind as you navigate forward. But I do feel like if you haven't got the boundaries now, you're going to get them. And if you do have the boundaries, some of you may have them so far up that you need to like soften up a little bit, because we also have the Queen of Cups, okay? So I feel like some of you are going to have an opportunity to love again. It may be with somebody that you started a thing with and you care about greatly and that you want to be with and all of that. But I also feel like some of you, it may be a new person that's going to come in and stir something inside of you. But regardless of what it is, old or new, this needs to be up and needs to be strong, but it can't be blocking you to the point where it's like nobody can get in, because then nothing happens, right? So make sure that you have a nice healthy balance between self-love, self-boundaries, and like being soft and open and receptive, because the feminine is receptive and the masculine pursues, okay? So like, that's usually how it is. You could be reverse roles. It could be a masculine pursues, as the woman is the masculine, and vice versa, whatever. Or you could have a very feminine man that like likes it for you to be the one that like initiates conversations or initiates dates or comes up with plans or whatever. It doesn't matter. But as long as it's working and it's healthy and, things aren't like a big shrouded mystery and toxic and all of that, then you're good. But I do feel like there's going to be an opportunity coming about for people to love, and they're going to need to soften up for some of you. Others of you, you might need to harden up. It just really depends on who you are, and you've got to be honest with yourself, because you may not be seeing things very clearly right now, or you might have a tendency to go to that shadowy energy, or make decisions that aren't the best for you, that causes conflict, chaos, competition, and all that stuff you don't want to deal with. So get honest and real with yourself so that you can bring things in that you deserve, because a 10 of Pentacles is available in your future. So the 10 of Pentacles is our ultimate fulfillment. It's our dream life. It's the destination we've always wanted to be in. Like, if you've always wanted to live in the mountains, that's the house in the mountains. If you've always wanted to be with a certain type of person, that's that certain type of person. If you've always wanted to have X amount of money or this or that and this many dogs and 2 boys and a girl and blah, 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 whatever it is, all the details, all the stuff, it's available to you. But you've got to like open up to it and receive it. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So again, I feel like some of you, there may be a test that comes, because the Knight of Wands can be the type that shows up
and then bounces out. Like, they show up, but they don't stick around. So this could sabotage you from your Ten of Pentacles, because, like, maybe you meet somebody, you let your guard down, you let somebody in that's vulnerable, authentic, is going to maybe be a new person in your life. And that could trigger somebody that is a little bit controlling, or trigger somebody that's manipulative and a liar, or somebody that gets jealous when that's like a player would get, like, has a tendency to get jealous. They don't want you to go be with other people, but they don't want to just be with you. So it's okay for them to be with all these other people, but they don't want you to be with other people. So if they see you going off with other people, they might play the game and come in, swoop around, and try to stop that from happening. Or, like, and it may not be conscious, they may not see it about themselves, they may not recognize that, like, I don't really care about you, I just don't want you to go to someone else, you know, like, it may not be like I'm a horrible person, but it may just be how they are. They may not even have any control over that. So if that's the case, if somebody sees you with this Page of Swords, this is somebody that's on the outside looking and watching, and a lot of times when I get the Page of Swords, I get the Seven of Swords with it too. So it's, like, usually the type that just, like, sits and watches. There is something there that's not being spoken in the truth. You know, there is, like, a shrouded mystery there. It's like, if you're just sitting and watching, like that's not your integrity, that's not your truth. It's like, you know, and a lot of times when people sit and watch, they don't say anything, so you don't even know if they are or not. That's in itself, the whole behavior is this type of energy, because it's like, you don't know if that's the truth, you don't know if they aren't, you don't know what they want, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and all those things. So try not to give too much emphasis or too much energy to things like that, because you don't want to keep bringing that into your life. You don't want that type, like, you'll never get anywhere if that's all you have is somebody that just sits on the outside looking. Like, let them watch you do your thing, but don't let them keep you from living your life. Don't let them come swoop in and stop you from having something good. So some of you might have to make a difficult decision, because you might care about the person that swoops in and leaves and comes and goes and has other people involved in stuff, and, you know, has a wife or has whatever, but has a tendency to not want you to leave, or has a tendency to not want you to go off with a vulnerable, authentic thing. But if that's the case, that at some point you got to say, you know what, like, I'm going to put me first, and I'm going to go with somebody that wants to be here with me always, not just sometimes. So that may be a test for some of you, or, you know, something that happens. But either way, I feel like you are going to be in your Nine of Pentacles, single, sexy, confident, independent, pre-Empress energy at the time that somebody shows up. And that's going to offer you that pentacle, the final pentacle that gives you the 10, because she's the one away from this, okay? So she's 9, she's got her money right, she's got her value right, she knows what she deserves, she loves herself, she speaks her truth, she doesn't, you know, people please, she doesn't lie to herself, she doesn't deal with the bullshit stuff. If somebody does come after her that's kind of in this energy, she's going to have healthy boundaries up. She's not going to let them play her, she's not going to let them do stupid shit. She's going to know if they're being authentic or not. She's not going to let them, you know, take her out of this, okay? So I feel like what this is saying is basically, as long as you are loving yourself and valuing yourself, doing the inner work, you still can get your 10 of Pentacles, and you're going to get a valuable offer. For some of you, it could be from somebody that was like this. Maybe they're going to realize that they're going to lose you if they don't get themselves together, right? Like, okay, you know what, like, she's rising up and she's making her own wishes come true, and there's other people going after her now, and she's got these new beginnings coming, and she knows her value and her worth, and she knows what she wants. She wants her 10 of Cups, she wants her happy ever after. And I asked, where's this all, like, where's this leading? And I got her. So where this is leading is, like, you're going to be in your value, you're going to be in your grounded, stable, loyal, committed energy, and I feel like you're going to receive that Page of Pentacle energy. I'm going to be honest, I feel like for some of you, you may get it from somebody that you don't necessarily want it from, because it's like, she doesn't look like the most happiest. However, we also have the Knight of Pentacles here, so it could be that it's just going to take a while, so you're like, when you least expect it, the person that you really want to show up and give you your 10 of Cups is going to come in and give you your 10 of Cups, and they're going to make you the Empress, okay? And they're going to bring you justice and balance for all of the pain and all the difficulty and all the shit that you've been through up until now. And it's going to be a real, vulnerable, authentic love offer from somebody that loves you a lot, okay? But they maybe weren't able to see that before. or maybe they weren't able to own that to you before, or maybe they didn't even know that themselves, or maybe they were stuck in the dark, or maybe they didn't think that they could have it, or they weren't valuable enough to do that, or they just weren't ready. But whatever the case, you're going to have a Six of Cups for some of you. You're going to reconcile with somebody, okay? It may take a little while. It may take them to realize their own value and worth, or to realize that, like, you still love them, or that, like, that it's safe for them to come around because maybe they've hurt you or whatever, or maybe it's going to take you loving yourself enough to put your guard down a little bit to see if that's the case. Like, maybe they've come and gone in the past, but eventually they can get that to be like something that they're not going to do again, and you can use your boundaries and your healthy respect of yourself, and like your logic and your intuition and your, you know, self-love and all of that to navigate through this so that they don't do it again, you know. And also look at yourself and be like, where was I messing up? What was I doing that was pushing them to run away, or what was pushing them to go towards other things? Or was it that they just didn't recognize how they felt? Or was it that they didn't recognize that your love was true love, or that, like, you really did genuinely care about them, or that you did want more because maybe you never told them that you wanted more, you know? So it's like whatever you got going on specifically in your situation is going to be very, you know, influential of what happens, or what needs to happen, or what you should be doing right now. But regardless, people do have work to do. I feel like for a lot of you, you are going to have your justice. You're going to be the Empress beside the Emperor. You will get the value. You're going to know your own value. You will get the value. You're going to love yourself. You might have to, like, go through a time of being, like, guarded and blocked off and all of that. But I feel like when this person shows up to really truly love you and give you that vulnerable, authentic cup of their love, and to reconcile with you for some of you, or to just be a new love, because the Page of Cups can be new love. So for some of you, it may be a new love that's going to bring you the justice. Others of you, it's going to be the old person. But, like, you're going to recognize off the gate, because you're going to have some history, you know, you're going to have some time. You're going to know, like, this is it. This is finally it. And I think that's why she looks that way, because, like, she's waited a while, you know, she's like, oh my God, is this ever going to happen? But there will be a transformation, and it will happen, and you will get to your Empress energy, coming out of your pre-Empress to the Empress when your true Emperor shows up to love you and give you that and reconcile, or present the love that you deserved all along, that maybe somebody from your past just wasn't ever going to be able to give to you. And whatever the case is, your wishes will come true. You will be happy. You're going to have justice. So, like, this shows me, like, whatever crap you've been through, or, like, whatever difficulties there's been, or lack, or people holding back, or people lying or manipulating, or whatever it's been, that's all going to get cleared up. It's all going to be okay. Okay? So hopefully that assisted you guys. Oh wow, it was 11122 when I looked down. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 22 seconds when I stopped saying stuff. So that could be more confirmation for some of you. But thank you very much. In Renee. Oh, and I do have a sale on Etsy and on my website right now. It's the summer sale. So summer 15, like all capital, the word summer with 15 at the end, on my website. Any order over $25, you can save 15% with that coupon code. And then on Etsy, as long as you go over $25, that should just automatically take the 15% down. And then I have buy one, get one free offers on Etsy right now, just because it's easier for me to make the listings on there. But I do like it when people go to my website, because that's like my main hub. So even if you just visit my website, put your name in on like the email list. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out. People can ask questions on there, get answers to their questions. The blog I have a writer for the blog now, that they've been adding all types of new blogs and stuff like that. So check out the website, put your name in on the thing. And if you want to shop on Etsy, that's fine, but I do have to pay fees and things just to use Etsy, so I like it when people don't always use that. I'm going to be posting crystals on my website, not on Etsy. So if you're a crystal person, you know, check back in a couple of days, and there should be crystals. And I think that's it. Okay, guys? So, in Renee, namaste.